In the Lab, proudly sponsored by Kit Kat Cash and Carry. Assalamu alaikum. In the Lab's first competition is now officially closed, although the entries keep flooding in. After a whopping 26 nominations, our winner is Suraya Ayub. We decided to host competition number 2. All you have to do is tell us what was your mom's favorite superstition or old wives' tale. The winner will receive a gift to the value of 300 Rand from honey consultant Farida Abu Baker. WhatsApp your answers to Lodium today right now. Competition closes on Saturday 17th August 2019 and the winner will be announced on next week's episode. Lodium today presents In the Lab with Zakira Bika, now also on channel Islam International. Proudly sponsored by Kit Kat Cash and Carry. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zaki Bika and you with us in the lab, empowering, inspiring and informing our viewers. There's no question that drug addiction is equally devastating for both men and women. Yet nationwide, studies have shown that males and females tend to be drawn to different drugs and that the disease of addiction affects them differently. Recent research also indicates that gender can affect the individual's response to drugs and his or her likelihood of becoming addicted. With us in studio today is Mahtia Muhammad, a community activist against drug abuse and a humanitarian. Assalamu alaikum, Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Wa alaikum salam, Zakra. Thank you for having me.
It's only a pleasure. So Mahtia, about drug abuse compared to male addiction, what is the difference or similarities for female addiction?
So, I think there's no real difference between the two because in any case, it starts at the same place. It's all, so you can't exactly say that most people would say there's gateway drugs like dacha, for example, or alcohol, for example, and then a female starts with dacha and ends up on cocaine, and a male ends up on the same thing. Can start also with dacha and also end on cocaine. And then when it comes to the emotional sides that's involved with it as well, males go through the exact same emotions as a female. So there isn't really much difference between how it starts for male or female.
Mahtia, that being said, how does female addiction start? Why would a girl start to take drugs?
So it can start anywhere from self-esteem. It can start from, being sort of overweight. Some girls are not happy with their weight or whatever, and then they start doing drugs to reduce their weight, to slim out, and yeah. So the drug addiction for females, I would say, starts by self-esteem.
Okay. Does taking drugs really make a female lose weight?
Yes, it does. It makes a female lose weight. It can also boost your self-esteem.
Okay.
It definitely makes you feel like you can do things that you wouldn't normally do. And it gives you that self-confidence that you didn't have in the first place. So it sort of replaces all the negative inside of you and puts you on some false belief of positiveness in your life and that you can do things.
Okay, obviously you've said a pertinent word there, false belief.
False belief.
It's obviously short-lived.
Definitely, without a doubt, because everything can be booming for now and then everything just collapses after a while. You end up losing focus, you end up losing direction, and it all crumbles at the end of the day. So it becomes too overwhelming, if that's the word works. It becomes overwhelming, and then you end up crashing.
Mahtia, you said like self-esteem and overweight in that. Are there more serious issues that a female goes through to push her into the arms of drugs?
Definitely. So that would come in with past issues. sexual abuse, sexual molestation, child abuse, emotional abuse, all of that is rooted in. Those are the deep-rooted issues that obviously when now you trying to be in recovery, those are the deep-rooted issues that comes out. And once someone is in recovery or a woman is in recovery, that is when it all comes out that it rooted from being molested as a child, or being raped as a child, or being abused by the family or parents in their homes and things like that. So yeah, those are deep rooted.
So what are the ages that females are more susceptible to starting to begin to take drugs?
These days, around the ages of, and it's actually scary, it's around the ages from about 9.
Oh my gosh.
From about 9, girls are taking drugs now. And I think it's moving with the world. So whereas maybe a couple of years ago, the starting age would have been 13, 14, it's gone right down to 9.
What are they taking at 9 years of age?
There's drugs in schools. So I think that is one of the challenges that we faced with, is that there is drugs in school. So there's also the drug education, but I feel with the drug education, they glorifying drugs more than telling them the scary side of it. And then obviously with inquisitiveness and curiousness, they want to go and try it. And I mean, if you're going to tell a 9-year-old child that someone else's life story and they started taking drugs because they were molested or whatever the case is, this 9-year-old child is going to think to themselves, okay, so let me take drugs to take away my problems because I was molested. So
at 9 years old, or this when it started, is it because of bad company, or?
Well, yeah, I would say bad company does play a major role in it, obviously with peer pressure.
Yes.
That's where peer pressure comes in. But it started somewhere. So that bad company also, it came from somewhere.
Okay, this is now a dumb question. I'm a mom, my kids are grown up. At being at the tender age of 9 years, what problems do you have that would turn you to such a bad ending?
So, if you look at most of self-mutilation situations, right? It comes in from about 9 years old for attention seeking. It can be that maybe they're not getting enough attention at home or the attention that they want. And it starts there. So maybe, yes, it's a bit of a stereotype opinion.
Yes.
But it does play a role of attention seeking.
No, that's a very important point, because now you're mentioning things and you know what, we are not aware of this. As a mom, how would you know that your kid your female child is doing drugs? And I'm talking now from the very young age.
So firstly, behavior changes.
Okay.
Right? So you'll obviously notice the behavior starts changing, withdrawal. They'll definitely withdraw from you as their mother.
Okay.
They'll just, be in their room or do whatever it is that they do, and they'll just completely pull away from you, and they'll shut you out emotionally. And so that is one of the first signs is the behavior changes in that way. Then afterwards, as it escalates, it just becomes very evident. They will become very frustrated, very irritated,
aggravated, I suppose.
Yeah, the aggression. Aggression will start coming out.
Okay.
They'll stop doing their normal chores, or their routines will change, things like that.
How about their grades at school?
Their grades will drop. Their grades will
are
drop.
teachers able to pick this up as well?
Teachers should be able to pick it up. Teachers are usually the first people to pick it up because they're spending most of the time with the children.
Okay.
And obviously, interacting with
the parents.
The parents. So I would say teachers should be able to pick it up.
So there's the cliche that the parents are always the last to know, to find out something or to know.
How are you, is our parents definitely in this case, so, or are we supposed to take blame that we didn't pick it up, or?
I feel that it is more denial.
Yes.
I feel that parents are more in denial.
Yes.
So they know, because I mean, a mother's intuition is never wrong.
Yes.
So a mother would always know there's something wrong with my child, and you would definitely pick it up. But then the parent or the mother herself goes through the stages of denial. And the mother ends up, crashing and not knowing where to turn and going into a state. So if the mother goes into that state, how does the mother help the child? Because now she's dealing with her own denial.
Yes.
She's dealing with her own blame. She's dealing with her own guilt.
Mm-hmm.
How is she going to help her child?
Absolutely. You're making so much sense, and you're bringing up such important points, my dear. How do families, this is also one very difficult question, how do families enable their female kids taking drugs?
Also, Sakira, that falls part of the denial. So if you're looking at a drug addict or a female drug addict that is completely gone, where the jobs are gone, she's not working, where's her income coming from, things like that. And where the families enable them is firstly by giving them money, knowing what they're doing, giving them the money and saying, okay, rather go and buy it instead of maybe prostituting yourself. Because a mother wouldn't want to see her daughter on the side of the street prostituting herself. She'd rather give her the money and say, rather go and buy what you need. And the other thing also is the denial. And sweeping it under the carpet because of being sort of maybe embarrassed about the fact that now my daughter is on drugs. Mm-hmm. So not wanting the community to know about it, sweeping it under the rug, covering up for her all the time, just covering up for her all the time, not allowing her to be accountable for her actions and admitting that she's got a problem and seeking the right help for her. So that is how I feel that families enable their daughters to. Yeah.
Okay, this is such a difficult topic. I'm actually thrown off my game here now because I don't know what questions to ask next. Obviously, a drug abuse is also more detrimental to a female because of our female conditions, menstruation, pregnancies, menopause, and all. How does that fall into this whole picture?
So because of all the chemicals that we're putting into our bodies, so women are made obviously to reproduce.
Yes.
So it affects the menstruation cycle. Firstly, that does get affected. It becomes unbalanced and things like that. And in a lot of cases, women that have been on drugs are faced with ectopic pregnancies. Okay. And that is when basically the fibers inside the fallopian tubes start falling away. It's not only due to drugs, but yes. It is a cause. It can be one of the causes. Yes. I mean, okay, yes, a lady that's not on drugs can also have an ectopic.
Yes.
But it does form part of that, where the fibers in the tube is basically starts, deteriorating and then falling pregnant becomes a problem. Having children, eventually, it affects all of that in the woman's body.
Okay. We, Mathia, throughout or recently maybe, we've been punting for this women empowerment and, stand up for women, gender equality and for women's rights and that. Yet, why are we so afraid to admit that a female has a drug problem?
I think, Zakra, to be honest, it's mostly in the community that we're in. Mm-hmm. It's become taboo in this community. However, anywhere else, it is not so taboo. It is so rife everywhere else that people can openly admit, I am a drug addict and I need help, or I am a recovering addict and, not feel judged or not feel that,
you're doomed.
You're doomed or whatever it is, I think one of our challenges in the community, especially when it comes to females, is this mindset that because my daughter has a history of drug abuse, how am I going to get her married? I think that is in our community one of the reasons why they want to sweep it under the carpet, or they wanna hide it. Because how do I marry my daughter off into a good family, or things like that? Will she get a suitable partner? What is my neighbors going to think of me now? And things like that. So it's more of a status thing that is a challenge that I feel in this community, especially.
Okay, what happens to a home, whether it be a mother, a sister, a daughter that has a drug problem? Because you obviously, as a mother or whatever in a home, you're looking after that home. What happens?
So a mother will fall apart. A mother will not be able to sleep at night, not knowing if their child is going to open their eyes tomorrow. Is my child going to overdose? Is my child out on the street doing what? Is she going to turn up in a body bag? Or, so for a mother, it is emotionally draining that the mother actually even starts withdrawing from the rest of the family. One person in the family that is on drugs can destroy the entire home. And especially when it comes to a mother or a sister or a wife, because we are so emotional, and I don't feel that our hearts can handle it. And the mothers, I feel, needs more support than anyone else in the home to keep that home running, to help the child that is on drugs. The mother needs the support more than anything else.
You're obviously a community activist for drug abuse now. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Is there, or are there success stories?
Yes, there is. There is so many success stories, and so many people that have come out from the rut, and today they're booming. They are in touch with themselves. They know who they are. They know that they can depend on themselves and not on a drug to push them forward. They know that they don't need a substance in their lives, and they're just loving off natural air and getting their natural high. And so, yes, there's definitely hope at the end of the tunnel.
So the key link to this success is that admittance?
Yeah. Admittance is the first step. Admittance is the first step to anything. Admitting that you've got a problem, mm-hmm. and admitting that you need help. Mm-hmm. That is the first step to your recovery.
Okay, well, this is one of now the most difficult topics I've did. And you know what, the thing that it happens to a female, and it happens to kids, like you say, as young as 9 years old and all, it's very, very disturbing. Mm-hmm. And we obviously need to pay so much more attention to this topic. Mm-hmm. And we are so grateful for people like you that are, willing to take the step and help others out there. Matya, your last and final words of empowerment and encouragement to our community.
So my final words of empowerment to the female drug addicts out there: please speak up. And if you need any help, it is not taboo. There's nothing wrong with you. And like I said earlier, the first step to recovering is admit that you have a problem, and admit that you need help. It can be discreetly, and obviously nobody would know about it. So there is a support group that will be running for support to the mothers out there that are faced with these challenges. We are here to support you guys so that you guys have the strength to support your children.
Well then, Matya, that is so inspiring. And you know what? As a community, we want to work together, and we're going to give out your details for your support group. And inshallah, we're just here to help everybody, and Allah make it easy for everybody. And thank you so much for joining us and empowering us and giving us all your words of wisdom. And may we continue with this, and we'd like to follow up and have you on our show again. Jazakallah so much. Well, there you have it. I end today with something really close to my heart. I might not be exactly where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. Catch us next week for more brilliant information on Lodium Today. Assalamu alaikum. Watch our episodes on YouTube and subscribe to our profile. Also, stay in touch on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and we'll keep you up to speed with topics coming up next week. Don't miss an episode.